Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Tuesday morning, guys. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as seasoned. I got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Tuesday, guys. So I want to speak to you guys about a couple of different things, well, a few things. I don't know where I'm going to start, but I know I want to speak in regards to the importance of locking, all caps, locking back on to the download of the promise. The thing that God gave you long ago, but it kind of have just, because there were so many things going on. I want to speak about that. I want to also speak about how the enemy has literally sent someone in your life to, when you hear people say things like the enemy uses people, right? So a specific individual that he sent into your life to target, right? Target and tempt you in the very areas that God is requiring you, all caps, requiring you to be disciplined. Next, I want to speak about what was the other thing? Releasing, you got to release that hurt, right? Whatever that hurt is, you must release it because it's literally holding you back. There are blessings ready to be released, right? But the pride and the fleshly side of things is literally holding back certain promises. Many times we feel like, where's God? God's promised me this, right? I can even feel it. I can smell it. Why isn't it here yet? Because there's many times we have hiccups, right? And we don't even realize it. We think we're healed, but we're really not in a certain area, right? So let's start with locking back onto that purpose. Okay, so many chosen people, God has given you a promise very, very, very long ago, and there's a great chance He told you to keep that promise to yourself for different reasons. Many people wouldn't even understand it. They would think that you were crazy because they couldn't get the concept, right? That download came to your spirit. So trying to make someone understand it in the fleshly realm, unless they're not a chosen person, right? Or unless they're called or assigned to your life, they'll get it, right? But over time, right? Because it have been years or even decades for some, over time, that thing have kind of just diminished, especially lately, because so much have been going on, major attacks, things like that. We're getting so much closer to the promise. So the enemy is attacking you more than ever. The attacks that the chosen ones are dealing with now are so intense whenever they happen. They're so intense. So we're human. So a lot of the times, a lot of the things that we felt very spiritually strong about, right? After so many hits, that stuff starts to kind of but deep down inside, it never left you, right? Deep down inside, it never left you. So when God starts to heal those wounds and you start to become spiritually strong again, you'll start to feel that desire come back more and more and more and more. Do not forget the promise that God gave to you, even if it was 50 years ago. Lock on to that promise, because truth of the matter is, in these crazy times that we are living in, that's going to be the one thing that gets you through, the one thing that allows you to have hope, right? You sure can't have hope in government and hope to that actual promise. To those of you if you're still struggling with feeling that desire again, just hold on. You may just be too damaged right now, right? Too broken right now. Just get through your grieving process and then your healing process. You can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but you will be healed from this. You will come up out of this. Be gentle with yourself. You're only human, and you're going to see that desire start to return. Next, let's talk about how the enemy will use or is using someone to target the very area that God is requiring you to be disciplined in. This particular area we need to be disciplined in general, right? But how can I explain what I feel? This particular thing, this particular vice, this particular hiccup, this is going to be something that is going to trap you and trip you up from reaching the actual promise. Where some sins, right, you can still receive certain blessings or whatever. Not to say that it's okay, if you will. You still repent and try to do better the next time. But there are going to be certain things that literally will keep you from reaching. Listen, guys, if I tell you how many times I had to hit, this is how I know this recording is for somebody. I've hit record literally 8 times from something. You know what? I'm not going to even give the enemy any pleasure right now. This particular thing is literally going to keep you from reaching the promise itself. Okay, that can look like, for example, let's say that it's flesh. Let's just say that you had like what is it called, a weakness or whatever for porn, for sex, for lust, like everything under that umbrella, if you will. Then a period excuse me, of of discipline, healing, all that stuff came along, right? You were in a season and you now he's messing with my throat. Listen. Whew, child, listen, if anybody can tap into this message, please hit your girl up in the comment section and let me know. Please let me know, because if you guys know what I went through just to get this word out, please let me know it wasn't in vain. Oh my goodness gracious. So, okay, so your area of vice falls under that umbrella. So you went through this discipline season and you got discipline in your flesh. Oh, honey, you was feeling yourself, right? You was feeling yourself, right? You've been what do you call it? What the guys are doing to really level up and evolve? Semen retention, honey. You were in semen retention for 8 months. I don't care how bad she was at the mall, honey. You were disciplined for 8 months, going into 2 years. All of a sudden, you took a hit, some kind of attack. Right? It left you vulnerable. Now he sends a chick to you knowing that you're vulnerable, but this is not any chick. This is a chick with the Jezebel spirit. This is a chick who have a lust demon because she was molested. She wasn't the one turned off, right? Because you can have people who are completely disconnected from sex, who are traumatized in that way. And then you have others where it makes them overly promiscuous. So he sends you this chick. But when you were in that season of discipline, when you were in that season where he was healing you and preparing you for the promise, he told you clear as day that was the particular area you had to master, right? He was on you about your weed. He was on you about your gluttony, right? He was on you about it, but he stressed that particular area of lust, sex, porn, etc., etc. Because it's something in your it's something in the promised land, whatever he promised you, right? Okay, let's just say this is a guy. I'm just gonna pick on my guys really quickly. The promise that he gave you, even if you don't have the whole picture or blueprint of the promise, but it can look like ministry, right? It can look like a business. It can look like a boys' camp, tutor type things, but there are going to be women there, other women's teacher or whatever. So the enemy is going to try to use the very area that God is requiring you to be strong in to bring you down. Meaning once you level up in the next season, which is going to be, for a lot of people, it's going to be like major things, seriously, because this shift is happening. This is why, again, Hollywood is tanking. So these people are falling, but then the chosen ones, right, are going to be the people who are elevated on higher levels. So he's trying to work on you now so you don't make it to the top of being one of the next, what do you call, mega pastors or mega businessman. Then because you can't control your flesh, right? The enemy then sends all kind of chicks to you when you're at the top and you're not even disciplined as a man in your flesh. You take bait and now the whole world's laughing at you, which that don't even matter, right? It's more or less about disappointing God. So the enemy is literally targeting you in that area. Or If God is calling you to the area of kingdom currency, right? And that just means, let it be through wealth transfers or this, that, and the third. However he blesses you is for specific purposes, things to be done in the kingdom. That can look like a number of things. That can look like going and backing different churches or different things is going to take major hits. It might be something like the government no longer will cover this, that, and the third. And God says, okay, but now your assignment is to back this person, that person. And that just doesn't look like church. I'm speaking in general here, right? That can be a ton of things. But so in that process, he requires you to get disciplined in your finances. You may have not even had like no type of experience from childhood or whatever. You may be the first one in your family that God blessed with some type of finances, but he required you in your season to learn to get discipline in your finances. And then you mastered it, right? Maybe not perfection, but you mastered it. Then you took a hit. You're vulnerable. Now, he sent some chick to you, right? Who, I'm picking on my guys again, but trust me, this is for my ladies too, right? It happens all the time. But he sent a chick to you who has bird brains, no intellect. She's fine, but she has no desire to do anything when it comes down to building or creating, or like she can't even put together in words what it means to be disciplined in the area of finances, because going forward, God may need you to do, but she's fine, but she thick. But all she wants is money. You're so gone and the soul tie, right? You're so caught up. You know this chick is using you, right? You know she wouldn't even be dealing with you if you don't have the money. But because you got your soul tie and she's fine and she's thick, you done gave her access to the bank account. Now you're broke again. The enemy literally uses people. So he will send somebody to you to target the very area that God is requiring you to be disciplined in. In this particular area, again, it's going to have to be mastered before he opens that door to the promise, if that makes sense. Okay, next thing, let's talk about, I'm gonna save the kingdom partners and how the relationships that are ending is leading into new people coming for last, because that's going to be a little bit more longer. Let's talk about releasing that hurt. Okay, however you've been hurt, and you may have every right to be upset with a person, right? But it's a spiritual hiccup. It's going to tie you. Like, we're quick to say things like, well, God, you promised me this. Like, where's the blessing? Like, the blessing may be so close that you may can even smell it and almost touch it, but it just won't come. Sometimes there's things in our lives, there's a hiccup, and we ourselves feel like, well, no, I'm good. But, you know, you may feel strong some days, but mess around and see that person. Mess around, let somebody mention that person's name, right? Or truth of the matter is, you may not even feel strong. You may admit that your unforgiveness is warranted right now, and you don't care what anybody thinks, because, you know, it is what it is. So being a person who's very sensitive, right, and who don't take hurt well, right? I get it. That's the fleshly side of things. But from the spiritual side of things, I'm telling you that in order for God to have to open certain doors in my life, and we're talking about elevation, like meaning, because remember now, we're all being like, you go from glory to glory, right? Blessings to blessings, right? He required, all caps, required a process of forgiveness. And I stress the word process, honey, right? Right? Okay. And how it changed my thinking. I had a profound download and insight about how, because when you realize that the person who hurt you basically has won, because you're missing out on blessings that God has for you. Okay, he cheated, he hurt you, he betrayed you. But let's just say that's a man you picked on your own accord just because you wanted a man. Okay. So now that that's over, Now, there's a whole man that God always had designed, or a woman for my guys, for your life. That person was literally designed and handpicked for you, but you went and married this nutcase on your own, right? Now, this other person that is ordained for your life is like just in the wind, right? Just in the wind, just float with me, right? He's in the wind, lingering around. Probably went through heartbreak themselves and already healed, but he can't get to you. He can't find you in the spiritual realm because you got this roadblock of unforgiveness, right? This hurt and this pain. So what happens if God releases that person to you and you still have this pent up hurt, anger, pain? Do you know you're going to take that stuff out on another person? You're going to literally damage the new thing that God sent, because a healed person not going to stick around for all that drama. This is why it's important for us to heal. It is our responsibilities to heal from our own traumas, right? For a long time, we thought that people should just accept us the way. No, that's toxic. It is our responsibility to go to therapy. It is our responsibilities to heal. There is not one person on the face of this earth whose job is to make you happy. There's nobody who can make you happy. That's a job of your own. So now you refuse to heal because flesh is in the way, and you feel like, well, no, if I forgive, if I let them, if they even have a whiff of thinking I forgave them, then they're going to think like they won. Honey, they've won. If they're holding you back from your blessings, they've won. Oh, they've won. So that's just one way. I guess I can give 30 descriptions, but I want to jump to this kingdom partnerships really quickly. So if you're dealing with some unforgiveness, if you're dealing with any kind of residue from hurt, pain, disappointment. Now, granted, we're human, so nobody's saying that stuff have to happen like tomorrow, right? It has to be processed. And the best way to release things quicker when it comes down to forgiveness is when you know that there's another level that's coming, another blessing that's coming. And the only way you can get there is by releasing and forgiving. Then when you get to the next level, you're going to be so happy that person hurt you. Can't feel it now. All right, let's go really quickly to these relationships that have failed or falling, and how God is literally replacing people who are literally specifically designed for your destiny. Okay, so of course, we go through pruning seasons all the time, people, places, things like that. But in the last season or so, we realize an extensive number of people being pruned from our lives. These can even look like family and friends you had for a very, very long time. That's so definitely. But I think I'm kind of feeling and speaking more so less about people who came into your life recently, if you will. This can look like last year, 5 months ago, whatever. But they came into your life for a specific purpose at that time. Or even you may have let them in, or whatever. It served a purpose, right? Maybe you took that major hit that we were talking about prior to due seasons, right? And then that person just soothed that soul, that you soothe your hurt and your pain, right? Or you were so broken, and however they got up in there, they got up in there. Again, this can be recent, or even just a year or so ago. And some of these are actually people that have been around for a long time, but then there's something in the spiritual room that has been pounding on you that the season is up, but it's the people pleasing aspect, it's the loyalty aspect, even though you know that person no longer serves a purpose. Like you can feel it in the spiritual room that it's over, but you still kind of like, you're half hanging on, like you're ready to release it, and the person is hanging on like a wild cat, and you know you're still kind of like, I don't want to hurt their feeling, that type of thing, right? And then there's some of you, like myself, who you know spiritually how the process is when God starts to remove people, even though it doesn't feel good, even though you may want some people to stay, you know the importance of releasing them in order for new things to find you. This is why a lot of you have recently experienced some type of disagreement that literally made no sense with the person. People say things like, and it's true, God is not a God of confusion, things like that. But let me tell you something, honey. God will allow some things to happen. We ourselves be too caught up on the emotional, fleshly side of things. Oh, this person just flipped on me for no reason. This person spazzed out for no reason. This person, like it's petty stuff. But a lot of the times, you have to recognize that we don't get to control how it happens. We just know that it needs to happen. We, truth be told, God already convicted us and told us to release them to begin with. We didn't, for whatever reason, again, people pleasing, whatever. So when he allows something to happen, even if it hurt your feelings, even if it shows you another side of that person that was not too cute, let it happen. Let it happen. A lot of the people that we picked up along the way were never, ever part of our journey. Well, I'm sorry, they were a part of the journey, but not for due season, not for the promised land, not for purpose and calling, right? They weren't for that. They were just part of the journey. But we want to hold on like wildcats and take these folks. They're not even equipped for it. That's why he's showing you other people's side now. He's showing you that this man can't stop cheating. He's showing you that when this one here get mad, this dude might, he's showing you certain things about this chick. She stole $5 out your pocket for some cigarettes, sir, when you was sleeping. And could she find you want to take her in the due season when God bless you with $1 million and you can't even call this chick out for stealing $5 for cigarettes? Sir. Ooh, child. But anyway, you will discover if you're obedient, if you have been obedient and you're releasing it and not trying to hold on or lock onto it, you will start to discover that God is ushering in people who are similar in the very ways that God uses you. So you're a server. Let's say, for example, you're a server, right? You love serving people, helping, blessing people, in whatever way that may be. You then encounter, and these aren't even things you go look for. See, you went to probably look for those other nutcases, right? These are things that will literally align because they were always meant. He's bringing in partnerships, right? Well, you may not see that it's a partnership. Well, maybe you do, but it's literally partnerships. And these are going to be people who are aligned with your same values, have the same type of mindset, because he's going to bring it together. These are going to be your destiny helpers, your destiny partners, kingdom spouses for getting where you fit in, whatever, your thing is, right? See, all along, this is why you don't see 1,000 videos any longer on kingdom spouses. You used to see that stuff every 2 minutes. God interrupted it because people had the wrong mindset. I mean, it sounds good. Kingdom spouses, kingdom partners. But for some reason, people want to, not everybody, of course, they want to kind of like ignore the kingdom part. So they're just all excited about a spouse, about a partner, just for, fleshly reasons, or just, just a desire to want to be in a partnership or a marriage or whatever the case may be. But they miss the whole aspect of kingdom. This is not about tickling your fancy. Well, maybe, but this is about God literally connecting people for a higher purpose. Like I'll say this this is just one example out of 1,000 probably, but God gave me, he haven't given me the whole blueprint yet, but a lot of it that I can't even speak on right now, but it's related to Africa, right? But for the last year or so, it seems like everybody he connects me with, especially my good sis Ify. If you're listening, my good sis Ify, honey, you already know what it is, right? Okay. He will start to see, when it comes down to your purpose and your calling, God will start to align it. We go wrong when we're trying to create it. We then pick up counterfeits, right? Then we get ourselves in a mess. If God have a purpose for you, if God have blessings for you, it's It's aligned. We just have to be in alignment to receive it. So a lot of you who are stuck on the kingdom marriages and the kingdom this, that, and the third, and you may have gotten so turned off from it because things that people were speaking on it who had no right to even speak on it because they were speaking on it just to profit off people, right? And you now have developed some type of disdain for it because you felt like God have lied to you or this, that, and the third. And even if it was one of the promises that he promised you, right? If he never gave you, because some people, it's a specific person, like you know who the specific person is. But if he never gave you a specific person, and he just told you I have a kingdom partner or a kingdom marriage for you, whatever the case may be, don't block your blessings because you had other people lying to you and giving you time frames. God said in 3 months. Child, listen, and I'm not going to say God won't tell somebody a specific time frame, but me personally, God have always said something like I can feel it like this season, if you will. This season, you can feel it versus tomorrow, this particular blessing will knock at your door. Again, not saying it don't happen. I'm speaking about me here, right? But don't develop a disdain and block your own blessings where now God is trying to align you back to opening up your spirit and to remove that disappointment and the fear of being disappointed again that is not going to happen. He's trying to open your spirit back up and to help you understand that the individual that's meant to be in partnership or kingdom marriage or kingdom spouse with you, that is going to be about purpose and calling. If you think about some of the prior people that have been into your life, some of the people may not have even had your same religious belief. And that, listen, that's okay, right? But it's not aligned. You may be a server, and then this person is a very, very, very stingy person, if you will. Like because listen, we all have different gifts. Right? We can't get upset because a person don't have the same kind of desire that we have. The issue is us. If it's not aligned, it's just not going to work for purpose and calling. How are you a person who believes on holding on to every penny, right? And maybe you have your rights. Maybe somebody, I don't know, you may have been a child in out foster homes, never had stability. So mentally you got to hold on to every penny so you never go through a difficult time again. That's okay. It's okay, right? We all are different. But then you can't be called in partnership to a person who is literally called to serve the homeless, serve to back up certain things, whatever. That's going to be too much conflict. So instead, God will align you with another server, right? And this person may not be completely a server in your same sense, but they have the spiritual knowledge and insight to know how God moves when he calls you to a particular arena, and they know the importance of gleaning from you in that area, and they're willing to do so and learn more and more and more and more, et cetera, et cetera. So I've said in several recordings last year, these kingdom partnerships, these kingdom marriages, these destiny helpers are way beyond tickling your fancy and this big, beautiful princess wedding, and we just get married, have the honeymoon stage for 6 months, and we sit on the rocking chair and just wait on Jesus. Honey, y'all got work to do. Y'all got work to do, boo. You can do what you do, right? But y'all got work to do. You guys have a great one. It's your girl, Kizzy.